Okie dokie. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Creature Cast, the official Console Creatures podcast. I'm your host today, Steve Vegvar, and alongside me, my fellow good buddy, my fellow vault dweller, Bobby. How the heck are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Steve. I feel elated. I feel refreshed. And speaking of refreshed, we have a new theme.
We do.
We do.
Absolutely. We could,
It sounds beautiful.
yeah. I
It's
like it.
good. It's snazzy. And
Yeah,
speaking of new things, we're doing something new today. So
very
I
new.
know I'm doing good, but I know you were popping off this week, and I know that means you're doing pretty good.
I'm doing very well, largely because of what we're just about to talk about, which is Prime Video's Fallout series. I can't wait to start talking about this. But aside from that, I'm feeling really good. I mean, we had an eclipse. The world didn't end. The world didn't, go into some sort of post-apocalyptic downswell. So that's a positive.
It was a beautiful clips. I actually um watched Berserk recently, so I had that fresh in my mind. And for
Yeah,
those who know Berserk, know what happens in that. And yeah, I kind of happened that situation did not happen because that was very Lovecraftian, and I never wish that upon anybody. But other than that, it was beautiful.
yeah,
Wow, great 5-10 minutes. 10 out of
that's
10.
it.
Clips again.
In another 120 years or
120
something.
years, I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, we'll see. But
Hopefully.
until then, let's talk about Fallout. For everyone out there, this is going to be a completely spoiler-free topic. We have watched all 8 episodes, courtesy of Amazon and Prime Video. Uh, yeah, so for those that don't know, Prime Video, they're dropping all 8 episodes at once early. They announced ahead of time that they're going to drop them on April 10th, the exact same day that our episode's dropping. So that's very nice of them. Nice of the
Mhm.
Vault Tech to unleash all the episodes all at once. But yeah, so again, I want to be very clear. We're not going to be talking any spoilers. I think we are going to do a spoiler cast at some point, but we want to give everyone out there, all of you lovely people, a chance to watch all 8 episodes, digest them all, and then we can all have a great conversation around it. But
Mhm.
just to kind of kick things off, I mean, I'm stoked to have this conversation, especially with you, because I know that there are a lot of ties into Fallout that draw back to shows that you and I both enjoy. I mean, obviously, it being produced by Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy from Westworld, show I know you and I have talked about in the past.
Oh God, I'm like devastated that we never got a conclusion to
Same.
Westworld. But I mean, a follow up like this, a follow up to Fallout. Let's put it that way. That's a great way to just bounce back. But like, I really hope that just to diverge from it. I hope that the buzz from this season helps get us that last season of Westworld,
I hope
maybe
so.
on Prime, because like honestly, they share a lot of similar themes, and I mean, it kind of makes sense that this is where kind of Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy pivoted.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, honestly, I mean, I just want to say I love Fallout. Like honestly, let's start with that.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do top level.
Top level. I mean, goddamn, that's all I can say. That's the first thing I said when I watched the show. It starts with a bang, and you know
Mhm.
exactly what I'm talking about, and it doesn't let off the gas until at least episode 3.
Agreed. Yeah. I always kind of reserve a little trepidation when it comes to video game adaptations. I mean,
Fair.
I think there's like at this point a shifting scale when it comes to them. And you got your Last of Us, which is prestigious television. You have somewhere in the middle, which is Twisted Metal, maybe an Uncharted, something like that. And then on
Yep.
the other side of it, we have the Halo series, which very divisive, very uh it is what it is, I guess, to say the least. And coming into Fallout, I was like, where are we gonna land here? Is I mean, the
Yeah.
trailers look great, the production value looks great,
It
the
looked like a
people
live action
behind it,
Fallout.
yeah, the
That's
people
exactly what
behind
we
it
got.
look
Yeah.
great. But where is it gonna be contextually after 8 episodes? And I would say that after 20 minutes existing in this world, existing in the series, I was like, oh, these guys know exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
Uh,
100%.
I leaned back into my seat. I kind of just sunk in. I was like, we're in good hands. We know they know exactly what they're doing here, and I'm excited to kind of parse through it and kind of do like an overview of the series because I think there's a lot to talk about just within a spoiler free um,
Yeah.
perspective. But I think a lot of that does come down to the showrunners, which is Graham Wagner, who people might know from The Office, Portlandia, Silicon Valley, and really you can kind of tell only because the Fallout kind of seamlessly shifts between incredible humor and then shifts right over to horrific brutality seamlessly with
Yep.
the same scene it can make me like guttural laugh and then all of a sudden go, "Oh shit." And then right
Yeah.
back to humor right after. And then the other showrunner is Geneva Robertson-Dworet, who has a very limited resume, but has been in the creative team for the 2018 Tomb Raider and Captain Marvel. So I think you can kind of see some of those strings in the series as well. And then as far as the casting, you have Ella Purnell as Lucy McLean, who kills it. I think she's the Vault 33 Vault Dweller who we're introduced to. She kind of has this all-American can-do attitude. She's very naive in some regards. You have Aaron Monten, who plays Maximus, a squire of the Brotherhood of Steel, and then you have the GOAT, Walton Goggins playing Coop Howard, or otherwise known as the Ghoul, and that's kind of the trifecta, the core cast of characters that, intersperse, they had a lot of cross-section
Yeah.
in throughout the 8 episodes. Let's talk about that. Like, what did you think of the core cast? What did you think of Lucy, Maximus, and Coop?
So I mean, they nailed the casting on everybody. Ella Purnell, if you've not seen Yellow Jackets, she's really
Mhm.
great in that. So I
Yep.
mean, I kind of knew what she was capable of because of that show. Um, Aaron Moten, I mean, I'm not too familiar with him, but
Same.
like he did a great job as Maximus, and his whole storyline was probably one of my favorite things about the whole show. And then you got Walter Goggins. I mean, the guy's a legend. Like everything he does is gold. I mean,
Mhm.
to this day, his stuff on like for me, I liked him in the Righteous Gemstones. I think
Yep.
that's probably one of my favorite things that he's done. And I know he's done stuff in like Tomb Raider and all that, but like I think this is probably my favorite thing he's done because it shows his comedic chops, it shows his dramatic chops, and like he does this great thing where he's able to play the same character in two precarious situations. So you
Mhm.
see obviously like without I mean, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but like we see in the trailer him as a person, and
Yep.
then him as the ghoul.
Pre-war.
So, like
Yep.
pre-war. So I mean like there's obviously some stuff there that we can't talk about, but like he does a great job of showing who he was and where he came from and kind of leads up to his life as a ghoul, which does a great job of not only expanding his story, but how the ghouls can operate. Because like I always understood what they were, but like the show does a great job of expanding on how they survive and what they're doing. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, great. The trio, like all around, like the three top casts are great. The whole like supporting cast nails it. Like everyone has a great role there. They're like definitive. They're very unique in their roles, and like everyone you talk to feels like a character you talk to in a Fallout game.
Yeah.
And that tells me like the screenwriters and the script editors, like they know this game, they know this universe, and like they know how to get these characters translated from a video game to a television show, and you
Mhm.
can see it on
Yep.
paper.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, you bring up the whole, video game adaptation, and I think it's appropriate to use the word adaptation very loosely, only because it doesn't really adapt anything from like Fallout 3 or 4 or New Vegas or anything like that. It serves as a brand new entry within this universe.
Yep.
I think it's very complimentary. I think you one of the things you brought up is, we're seeing it, especially in the trailer, some pre-war footage, like what life was like back in 2077 before the Great War, before the bombs dropped. Something we never really see to begin with, but oftentimes never really hear about. In the games, you read some lore, you open up a book, or you go on a computer and you might get like little snippets here, but we're actually seeing like actual footage, like how people lived, how the retro futurism kind of was before, it became this bleak, hopeless, universe to live in. And I thought that was very compelling. And yeah, putting it through the lens of Coop Howard, Walton Goggins, I thought was very compelling all the way through. Um, and I know we kind of talked about it, how there are so many mirroring components between Fallout and Westworld. And I want to know if this resonates with you, but like to me, Walton
Yeah.
Goggins' character very much was Ed Wood's the Man in Black.
Yep.
He was
100%.
William the entire time. Like you love to hate him the entire time. He's the one that knows exactly, quote unquote, the rules of this universe. He's the one that can go out,
Yeah.
have these brutal
Yeah.
moments because he knows that's what it takes to survive. He's survived, the 200 years as a ghoul. So I thought that was very fascinating to kind of see, like, oh, there's so many mirrors here. It's so many compelling mirrors. It's kind of, taking inspiration and drawing from the best aspects of Westworld and then putting it
Yeah.
into the Fallout universe.
And that's kind of where, like I said, it feels like a spiritual sequel
Yeah.
in that regard, but it spins off into the Fallout universe. So I mean, it feels like everything I liked about Westworld is here. So that's like the great
Right.
characters, the great cinematography, the great script, the great music,
Oh
and
my
that's
God.
the music is incredible. Like they always get the best composers in these in anything they work on. Jonathon, Nolan,
Yep.
and it all helps bring together this universe, this world, and like you said, Walter Goggins's presence is felt throughout everything,
Hmm.
and that's why I feel like he's a rare actor. He's very unique because he can do everything. I feel like he's a comedian first. He's always been a comic, and comics are better at drama than anything else. You can't reverse that. Like I know that's always been kind of
Sure.
like a notion. Comedic actors are better at everything, and then you can't reverse it. You can't get dramatic actors doing comedies. It's rare.
That's super true. Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. I think, yeah, he can
They
skirt that line
understand
between.
tragedy. Yeah, like he
Yes,
can understand
exactly.
tragedy when no one else can. And Cooper Howard's storyline is probably my favorite thing about this. Like I love a lot of the present day stuff, but following Cooper's story, like there are moments where I'm like, whoa, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
But it's also really sad because like he's clearly going through stuff in his life, and that I guess that dreading sense of knowing that there's like a nuclear bomb about to drop, because like that's always described in the opening moment. It's like, if you stick your thumb up, if it's this far away, you can
Right.
either run or you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And like
Vault Boy,
that's
thumbs
yeah,
up. Yep.
the thumbs
Yeah.
up's a great way to describe the sense of this world. Like really, it always feels like danger's imminent in this world, and like
Mhm.
that thumbs up notion kind of plays throughout everything. Like there's always no danger like dwelling in this world. And Walter's character is like the bridge between everything. Like he's in all the great fight scenes. He's aware of all the factions. Like he kind of knows everybody and everything, and like that really helps his character steer the narrative.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. He does feel kind of like the captain of it all.
Yep.
And I also want to give Ella and Aaron their flowers as well. I think their chemistry
Oh,
together when they share scenes, incredible. There are so many hysterical moments given by Aaron Mon. Again, I'm not very familiar with his resume, but I thought he was just absolutely charming. Again, he's also able to kind of skirt the line between comedic moments and then gravitate to those dramatic beats
yep.
as well when needed. But I do think that above all else, those moments that he can play this almost goofball, almost
He plays like
like
a doofus kind of, and
a
then
little
there's
bit.
moments where, like in the first episode, it's like, whoa,
Yep.
he's clearly he wasn't raised properly, but like he's doing the best he can. And then in moments where things are going down, like he picks up the slack and he's like involved.
Yep.
So like I think he's just like, I guess, head fast as a
Sure.
character, and like he's aloof, but he plays that to his advantage because like it balances out with Lucy's character because she's like the typical vault dweller. Like they're all goody two shoes. They all follow the golden rule,
Right.
and their whole thing is, do good, but not and don't harm too many people or whatever it is. It's
Mhm.
like they don't cross a certain line.
Yeah. Yeah, and you kind of
And
see her struggle with that where she's coming out, like I said, she has this kind of like wide-eyed perspective of coming out of this very safe environment being the vault, and then coming out into this new world and kind of learning to adapt and having that struggle of, well, no one's going to just be nice to you because you're being nice to them. It's not this perfect
it doesn't work like that
utopia,
anymore.
exactly. But above all else, like throughout her entire journey, sure, she's forced to make some concessions here and there, but she sticks by her morals, she sticks by her values, and I think
Yeah.
that's very compelling for a character, especially some when you look at Fallout and look at all the playthroughs I've had where I'm just the most notorious menace the wasteland has ever seen.
Yep.
And then you have someone like, Lucy
I
here, who's just very, kind-hearted, will go out and like wave to her neighbor and everything. And then me, who will just gun down a
Yeah.
civilian just for their bottle caps, it all within like the same universe.
I'm always been the chaotic neutral. So like
Yes.
I would say chaotic good. Like I always lean towards like I will obviously go to my I won't harm anybody that doesn't need harming. So like I kind of resonate with Lucy's personality a little bit more.
Hmm.
But it's just because you're playing the Vault World. Like you there now that I was able to see them in a new light, given now that there's 8 episodes to kind of see how they live day to day. I understand why like they don't hurt people, and that they are like a remnant of before the war, and they're necessary. They need to be in the story. They need to be recognized for the fact that they're trying to keep humanity going when there's nothing left.
Yeah.
And having her step out of the vault, and immediately she's thrust into like these precarious situations, and it's like, well, how far is she gonna go? Like and like the script writers, everyone does a great job at not, they don't really like tease will she, won't she. They always let her stick to her principles, and like I love that about it. So like
Hmm.
having that situation where she's up against the wall and she always finds a way to use her background as a vault dweller to save her.
Yeah.
And that's like I love that. Like they don't really they flip they tell you who she is from the beginning basically, and then she sticks to it. Like I don't like when they introduce characters and like you know them to a certain point, and then they do something so bizarre out of left field that doesn't like resonate with who they are throughout these past episodes. And I am glad that they stuck to the guns and like they didn't cop out on the character for
Yeah.
for for like, narrative reasons. Lucy
Well,
is a great character
I
through and
I
through. Like I love Lucy.
I think that can be said across all three of them. They're all kind of products of
Their
their
environment. Yep.
origins and their environments and everything, and they all kind of stick to their guns, so to speak, of how to survive in this world, whether, it's, Lucy's perspective or Maximus's, in the Brotherhood, or, Coop's now, in being a
Yeah.
ghoul. They all know or try to adapt and survive in their own way. One thing I really do want to talk about here is just everything to do with the production
Oh,
of the
it's
series. I
incredible.
was I was blown away, and I don't even mean this like an exaggeration. I was so pleasantly surprised. I'm talking about the set designs, and you talked about the music. I think the music's great, but the set design, the costuming, and the sound design, like
Yeah,
outside of just the tracks, but whether it's the sound of a
everything,
Pip Boy's
everything.
flashlight, the doors on the vaults going up and down. It
Yeah,
sounds authentic, and none of it sounds like, ham-fisted or forced. It all feels very natural, like you are playing the game. It's so familiar, but it just works.
and that's kind of what helps bring this universe to life is that attention to detail. It's all
Yeah.
the small things like you said, the sound effects, certain things later on that kind of like whoa, they remembered this from the game that seems so obscure.
Mhm.
And then they have all these Easter eggs spread out through every episode. I feel like I caught a couple Easter eggs that I hope people catch because it's made with passion. This series, and like there's all these little tidbits that anyone who's played the games will be like, oh wow, they know what they're doing.
It,
And
it's so funny because, in my opinion, none of them feel like Easter eggs. Not in the way that when you watch the
like obvious
Uncharted
ones, it's like
movie.
it's part of the like it's part of the it's integrated into the narrative so well,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
It's
Where
it's not
if you know,
something
you
that you kind
know.
of
If you know, you know, but at no point are they like dangling the keys in front of you and being like,
yeah,
"Ha, you
exactly.
you understand this reference?" It just all feels very, natural and kind of well integrated, like you said.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I feel like I helps bring everything to life. It's like you said, the costumes, it's the weapons. I'm actively searching for a proper Pip Boy now because just seeing
Oh
it
yeah,
in live action, it's like that's incredible. Like it looks so good. Um the vaults look great. Like I loved how you open up with the vault and you see, where they're growing crops and it's got like the Wyoming backdrop and it looks
right.
like, they're trying their best to survive. Like everything in the vault specifically, like I was like, whoa, like they nailed it. Like the bunkers, they nailed how you couldn't go up and down the floors, and it's just kind of like it's like a staircase to a different level, and like every vault floor is different, and like
Mhm.
the cafeteria, like it's all stuff I remember from the games. Like it's so one to one, it's crazy. Like it
Yeah.
really feels like they pulled the game and put it into live action.
Yeah, one
And
of the details that I really liked was, especially in like the overseer office, is always the circular cutout window
yep,
overlooking where, like you said, the crops and everything. I just love that attention to detail where they know exactly this is how vaults are laid out. It's across the board. They're not trying to remix it or do anything new. It feels very much, hey, this is a part of the core franchise.
and that's it. And that's kind of like what I was most worried about. Like
Mhm.
I was thinking maybe they would do, a lot of digital stuff, but it's all sets. It's all built. It's like they built everything for the
Yep.
show. It's not like they took the route where they went, like the Mandalorian, where they have like the big digital stage. It's
Right.
very, present. You're on these stages. You feel it. You're playing in this world. These actors are lucky to play in this world, and you see them having fun while they're doing it, and that is a good sign for me that whatever the show or the movie is like the actors know, they trust the directors and the writers because like it's it's not a shortcut. They took the right path to film, and the proper you know the proper channel is the final product. We watched 8 episodes. I watched them back to back basically on last
Mhm.
week because I just couldn't put them down because it just like it was like playing a follow game. I feel like I got like a 20-hour Fallout story and an 8-hour episode and an hour series because like it's that could have been basically a sequel. That could be Fallout 5. I feel like if they wanted to, that could have been Fallout 5. And
Honestly, I
because
I I think that the show definitely earns that acclaim, that it earns that title, because to me, it feels like a natural, entry in the core franchise, whether or not you wanna call it Fallout 5 or, Fallout Boneyard or LA or whatever. It feels very much like it should be on the timeline when you look at, boom, 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 Fallout 3 all the way through 4. It should be the next entry because it authentically feels like it should be there. And I I do struggle to wrap my head around whether or not Amazon actually knows what it's sitting on right now, because I feel like a large part of me wonders if this show would be better as like a weekly release, because I think that in a lot of situations
yeah,
it has those cliffhangers, it has those water cooler moments where I would have loved to be like, "Oh my god, Bobby, did you see last week's
yeah,
episode? Blah, 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 blah. This happened. What's gonna happen next?" Because I was having those conversations,
yeah,
with my partner as we were watching and everything, and I just wonder if Amazon was like, "Oh, well, it's Fallout. Maybe it's better as like a binge watch," which, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed. Like you, I went through it over the course of, I think, 4
yeah.
nights. I split it up a little bit, but I do wonder, hey, would this have been better served as a weekly thing where people, no, almost like Invincible or The Boys, where you're watching one a week. Because I do think it has those moments that kind of elicit a conversation, elicit those online moments. Whereas now I think that a lot of people are just going to binge
Right.
watch it, get through it, and then kind of immediately go, where, what's next, whether it's a
What?
game or another
Yeah.
season, what have you.
So like I assume just because it's on Prime, like I think this is their MO. Like they'll push it to the series to the platform, and they'll do it in one shot, and then based on reception, it'll
Yeah.
change. So like Invincible was at one point. I feel like it was one big drop. I feel like I know The Boys was like that at the beginning, like episode
Was
season
it?
one.
Okay.
I feel like it was like it's just like, hey, The Boys is out, full season's available.
Mhm.
So I feel like based on reception, we might get that in the future. So we'll probably get, if it's another 8 episodes over 8 or over like 6 weeks, we'll probably get them all.
Right.
And that would probably be what would work for this series. Cause like you said, there are moments in the middle where it's like that would have been a perfect night to just, cut it off, see you next week, and we can talk about it until then. Because
Yeah.
like this storytelling, this kind of storytelling deserves that gestation period where you can watch it a couple times and then pick up things that you probably missed, and then you can discuss with your friends. And in this rare situation, we didn't really have that because it's not out yet, and there's only so much we can say in public. So it's like, yeah, I was watching it, I was like, I could really talk to anybody because, like, for one, you were a little bit behind me or
Yes.
whatever. And my girlfriend and she watched an episode with me, but she was working most of the time, so it's like I couldn't really talk about it. So it's like I just kind of watched it. I was like, okay, I love this, but I gotta wait a couple, or like a week to hear what everyone says.
Yeah. I'm
So,
looking
yeah,
forward to that though.
So like I am, yeah, exactly. So we're luckily it's not like a game where it's like 3 weeks out. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I couldn't talk about for like a month, and that
Right.
was painful. And then it came out, and I had to wait an extra 2-3 weeks just because it was so long. The turn on this time is I feel like 2 weeks. So like we got these episodes like last week, shows up this week, and
Mhm.
you could probably watch it in a night if you really wanted to. So I feel like by this time next week, everyone's going to be talking about everything that's happened, and I'm happy because like we can finally join in, and it
Right.
feels a little bit more timely, and like I feel like I'm part of the zeitgeist for once because I get to I had that little buffer, but now everyone's caught up with me within a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I overall I think I really hope that Amazon knows what they're sitting on and they nurture it and they do the right thing by Fallout and Jonathon, Nolan, and Lisa Joy, and give them the proper tools and the breathing space to figure out the next season, and then let it play out properly. Give it that weekly schedule. I would rather have that, and I like you said, I know you would too. So like I feel like it plays better as a show where you see it every week.
I think so too. I do want to say that in terms of the pacing, I do think that the first 2 episodes incredibly strong. It kind of teeters off a little bit for like episode 3, 4, and 5, which largely serves as character pieces that are you're
Yeah,
really
they're like
getting into the
building up.
nitty gritty.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then 6, 7, 8 complete payoff. I like
yeah.
6, 7, 8. I think are the strongest episodes out of the bunch, and I had a blast with those. Those were largely my favorite episodes and had nothing but great moments start to finish.
So yeah, I think my favorite things were, I mean, further on. Obviously there's like small little character appearances like
Yeah.
Matt Berry's appearance. I love
Oh
Matt
my
Berry
god.
showing up.
Yes.
So like I'm glad that we're seeing Matt Berry finally get his due. He's in more shows, more
Hell yeah.
movies. Every time seeing him is a pleasure. And then, we see Vault 30, I think it was Vault 32 with episode 5, 6. I think that's where it started picking up because then, you see like Chris Parnell in the show and like it's stuff like that. It's
Oh.
great.
Yeah, no, so that's not 32. I don't remember the name of it, which number it was.
It's
4.
one of the, it's like one of the vaults, but like
Yeah.
you see more vaults and like there's just all these things and like and they're all and they feel similar and different. in a way. It's like, these people, were raised this way in this vault, and then you go to this vault and people have a specific way they are raised here and how they
Yep.
go about their daily life. And like I love that because that stuff leads into bigger and better things as the next episode goes on. And like I like you said, I feel like you said 5, 6, and 7, or sorry, 6, 7, and 8 really drove home what the series is doing and what
Hmm.
Fallout's about. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like everything that they did um regarding not even just the storytelling, like let's talk about the fight scenes. Like they feel like they're out
Sure.
of Fallout games. Like seeing like Walter Goggins' ghouls like blast people through the chest, and like I love that. And it's part of, and everything that in the game is like he's taking stim packs, and like you see everything in the game. Like you see all these things that boost their endurance in the game.
Rad-X, the sugar
Rad-X,
bombs. Yeah.
all there. Like, I loved it. Like it's just all these things, and like there's vending machines, and like I loved it. Everything there is just uh, it's so good. It's just it's so good. Everything
Yeah.
about this is like it feels like a chef's kiss for Bethesda and Microsoft and Jonathon Nolan and his wife. Like this is such a great thing that's out there now, and I'm so happy that we're getting this. It's kind of reignited my passion for the series. I mean, I haven't
Same.
played Fallout in a couple of years. I mean, you and I discussed 76 just kind of seems like a drag for myself. It's not what I want from a Fallout game. So having this here kind of makes me want to go back and play, like you said, 3 and 4, and
Dude, I installed Fallout 3. I'm ready to rip it again. I want to continue existing in this universe. Yeah, I think this will have to tide me over until an inevitable like proper Fallout 5. But until then, I'm considering this Fallout 5. Don't care what anyone says. This is my next entry.
there's really no there's nothing else saying that it's not Fallout 5. Like legitimately, everything that they've done is apropos of the series. Like it is a continuation. It has beginning, middle, end. It's everything that Fallout is. And it just sucks that we have to wait for so long. I have no clue when we're going to see the next season or the next game, and it feels like it's going to be a long half decade. I feel, because I feel like we won't be seeing it until at least 2029 for
Sure.
either the game, maybe
Yeah.
the show will be in a couple years. But like, I want more now. Like it's such a rare adaptation where it matches what The Last of Us did for me. Like I was so invested in that show for several weeks, and
Hmm.
now it's like I know what happens in the second season. We all obviously played the second game, but I want to know like how they're doing it on film, on television. Like how are they
Yeah.
going to adapt it? And now that this Fallout series is out, what are they going to pull from the games that kind of like starts bridging them even further together? Like, are there going to be characters that we remember from the games that are going to start popping up? Like that feels like the next logical step for the series, in my opinion.
Yeah. Or I mean, who knows down the line whether or not someone from the show could make their way into a game. You just, I mean, I think having that cross media universe really does open itself to those kind of cameos, but also references and stuff like that, especially when you have a show like they're demonstrating here that, wholeheartedly does exist within this shared universe and adds to it in a very compelling way. I
Yeah.
think, I think I think fans of the series, whether or not you go back all the way to 3, they're going to have an absolute hoot with some of these moments of just learning more about the game, like learning more about how events impact the games and vice versa. But also, I don't think that you have to love Fallout the games to really enjoy this at all. I think this is just a compelling piece of television that just so happens to be a Fallout show. I think you can come into this totally new, fresh. You don't really need to have too much knowledge in terms of what Fallout is. Like we said, any kind of Easter egg just feels very naturally integrated. All the backstory, the essential parts are told to you. So don't feel like you need to go onto Fallout Wiki before you start watching this. It's every important beat that you need to know is going to be told to you through the story itself. And hopefully you enjoy it just as much as, a longtime fan does.
Yeah. So I mean, the good thing about being on Prime is like I do love their X-ray feature where
Oh, yeah.
anytime you click on it, it'll give you like a little Easter egg. Like it kind of runs me a pop-up video.
Mhm.
But going back to that, there's a couple of really cool things. Like I obviously not going to spoil some of the things we saw, some of the monsters, but man, the gulper.
Oh, sure.
That's what I was Wikipedia after, because like we see these monsters, I'm like, whoa, they did a really good job. Like I kind of remember them just from playing them, but then the translation to film is like, whoa, they really like got every detail down.
Yeah, you
And
see it in the trailers with the little finger
yeah,
mouth. Disgusting.
yeah. And then the rad roaches, like
Yeah.
I love the rad roaches. Like I'm kind of sad that we didn't get more of them, but I really hope we start seeing like, I guess like more mutants in the future, or like the rad scorpions. Like we never saw that. Like it was more of a, it's kind of like The Last of Us, like in the regard that, you know, they're living in this world, but they dialed down like the clickers in that show just because like they're a gameplay mechanic,
Sure.
which makes sense. But like I mean, it's always nice seeing a clicker, and in this regard, like I would like to see more, you know, of the monsters that kind of evolved after the Fallout.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of my one gripe is like if they're gonna do like all these not so obvious Easter eggs, like put some more of the world in there, put some of the creatures in there.
Yep.
But other than that, like everything else is great. Like the weapons are like one for one recreations of stuff we've seen in the games. Like it's cool. That stuff's great.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pistols, the rifles, everything looks really authentic for sure.
When Lucy, like I know it was in a couple of the trailers, like Lucy's outfit where she's like her vault jacket's, you know, down and she's got the armor on. I'm like, that's
Oh, true.
exactly what my character wore.
Right?
Like I'm like, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, you're just
And
finding
then,
little pieces and you're throwing them on like the shoulder plate and stuff like that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and like she's missing a boot because like, and I love that. Like it's just like that's what happened to my character. I actually did happen once. I was managing my inventory and I lost my shoes, and like it was just like the stupidest thing. And like I was like, I remember that, and like it's just these little small things. It's like this happens in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I mean, I love this show. Like I'm so happy that it exists. I'm sure you feel the same.
Yep.
It just sucks that we have to wait. And overall, like if you love video games, like this is definitely something you want to watch. And I hope Paramount watches this and does right by Halo. Like I
Oh,
dropped it
man.
after 2 episodes.
Oh, man.
I know the second season kind of like righted the wrongs of the first season, but like that's not Halo. Like if you're gonna do Halo, do Halo. Like we don't need to see Master Chief having sex. We need to see Master Chief just
Master Cheeks.
stomping. Yeah. Just let him do his thing. Let him just destroy everything in his path. Like that's what we want.
Yeah.
But
I think above all else, you know, yeah, obviously they knocked it out of the park with Fallout. We're talking about right here. I'm very excited now to see more of this God of War project that Amazon has up its sleeve. Like
yeah,
if
you know
they
what?
can get a compelling creative team on top of that and give it just as much love and attention to detail and, you know, just faithfully adapt God of War. Whoa. Oh, well,
I know,
they're
like
gonna be
honestly,
a
there's
force
gonna
to
be
reckon with.
Emmys. There's
Yeah,
gonna be a lot of Emmys for this for that. And like obviously like they're not, it's not gonna be the same team running the show, but
sure.
I mean Amazon seems to, despite, you know, being Amazon, like their entertainment arm, they're pretty good. Like they clearly know what they're doing. Like I like they've had some really great stuff, and they still to this day have some of my favorite shows of all time. Like I don't think there's anything else out there like The Man in the High Castle, like and The Marvelous
Mm,
Miss Maisels, and you know now you've got stuff like Reacher, and I feel like this is kind of the future. It's like
yep.
if you want to watch like really good television, it's at Amazon right now.
It
Netflix kind of feels like they've lost what they were, you know, became famous for. And for anyone who wants to, you know, watch good television, it's on Amazon. Like I know it's obviously included as part of your Prime subscription, and now there's ads, but like really, you're getting the best of Hollywood on Amazon.
I think you're getting also the best adaptations. I mean, I think
100%.
Prime Video really does own the comic adaptations right now between, Invincible and The Boys, and
Invincible. See, yeah, and the
uh,
boys. Like there are all these shows that that
yeah.
belong on just on Prime. They're all on Prime. You
But
could
now if they
legitimately
can grab a hold and kind of hold on to video game adaptations too, that's great. I
I
I I
mean
think this is a great first step in that kind of initiative.
if yeah, if Amazon and HBO are like the leaders in video game adaptations, that's great because like they've done a great job so far.
Yeah,
I will give kudos to Paramount for Twisted Metal because like
sure.
it was a great show, but they also released Halo the series, and that's the biggest stinker since Mario the movie from 1993.
And it's
So,
nice of you that you want to give Paramount its flowers for Twisted Metal, but they didn't do it. They just aired it in Canada.
so even
Peacock.
okay.
Give it to
Well,
Peacock. Peacock did
I'll give it to
Twisted Metal.
Peacock, which kind of sucks because like I would sign up for Peacock, but we
Same,
have
but
Paramount
we don't
Plus,
have
and
it.
like, but you know what? They have lots of Ninja Turtle stuff on there, and they have Sonic, and they have
Top
Sonic the
Gun.
series coming out. So I'll give them that stuff,
Yeah,
and they have Knuckles coming out, which is another thing I'm actually really excited to talk about
sure.
in a couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, as far as that adaptations go, Amazon, you're doing a great job. Like I
Yeah,
am so happy with what you've done. Throw all the money at these series and just support your creatives because they clearly know what they're doing. When you let a creative person have control of what they want to make, like you get products like Westworld, you get a product like The Last of Us, you get the Fallout, and yeah, I mean, really, you now are going to have that critical acclaim. You're going to have the consumer really happy with what you've done, and that buzz is worth all the money you invested. So, like, really support your creatives is what I'm saying. Just
yeah.
let them do what they want.
And just hold on to Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. Give them the love. Give
Honestly,
them they
yeah,
need it. They deserve it.
the HBO, WB, I'm calling you out for the stupid thing you did. Just
They
canceling
screwed up.
Westworld.
Screwed up.
Yeah, like you screwed up so bad. Like that series is so original. It's so like uh it's so unique. There's nothing else on TV like that kind of resembles that. And
I
like
mean,
I'm
now you
so
got Fallout.
now we
That's
got follow, but I wanted to know what happened. Like
I
honestly, like
know.
you have such a create. This is the creative team that gave us like Person of Interest, which is such a great show for its time. Like I
True.
loved it. And then you let them make Westworld and you don't let them finish it
Yeah.
on the home stretch. Like they have one season left to go, and like you just David Zaslav is just such an herb, and like the guy ruined everything.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not let your team finish what they started when they're that far? Like, I understand maybe season one, you could have capped it there, and it would have been great.
Sure.
But you gave them 4 seasons, and you never let them finish. And I feel like you're gonna. I'm talking to David specifically because he's such a tool. Now you're gonna get them on Prime, and they're gonna get Follow. And I really hope to God that we see season 5 of Westworld on Prime because like it will bite you in the ass. I'm calling it right now.
All right. Bobby, final thoughts before we start wrapping up.
I'm gonna watch it again as soon
Yeah.
as out like tomorrow. And that's it. I'm
Cool.
excited. I'm eager. I'm elated. I am radiated.
Yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, as for me, I think the Fallout series it beautifully threads that line between familiar and original. I've said it now. It earns top marks for me. It has every right to be known as Fallout 5, in my opinion. Walton Goggins is at his best. Give him the damn Emmy. And I think, yeah, it just really wears its, retro futurism on its sleeve and just
Yeah.
beautifully skirts that line between comedic elements and then horrific brutality. It captures that tone that you want from Fallout in very compelling ways and adds to the
Yeah.
story and the lore. And I think it really does become must-watch television for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I actually want to end it with one thing.
please.
If you were to get another Bethesda adaptation,
Yeah.
which would you pick? Would you pick, say, Skyrim, or would you pick, uh, you know, like what would you pick? Like what would you want to go and see from this duo?
Oh, oh, like Like
Yeah.
another adaptation from
Yep.
Bethesda?
If you were got another Bethesda, would you want to see like I would do Skyrim, or would you do like Deathloop? What would you pick?
Ooh, if it's anything under Bethesda, I would probably go. Oh my gosh.
Hi-Fi Rush. Like, what would you want to do?
Ugh. Maybe okay, this is a toss-up. It's gonna be either Wolfenstein or The Evil Within.
Ooh, Wolfenstein would be very, very controversial
Oh, of course, but I would love it. I would
because
eat that shit up.
it would be too woke for a
Of
lot of the
course.
Gamergate people, and apparently killing Nazis is wrong,
Oh
which
no. Oh
I don't get.
no.
I know, but maybe Doom. Doom would
Doom
be
would
a
be
great.
fucking sick.
I know
That
we
would
had the
be
movie, but
yeah, bring The
no.
Rock back. Bring
Oh god.
the first person
Or
chainsaw shots.
you know what? No. You know what? I'm changing my so my top 3 would be 1, Dishonored,
Ooh, that'd be
2,
a good one, okay.
Skyrim, and
Yep.
then 3 would be Prey.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Prey would be really good.
And I would pick the same team. It would just be Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy.
Yes, it would have to be. Have to be.
Have at it.
Um,
And
I also wouldn't
yeah,
be opposed to, like, a Starfield adaptation.
I mean,
Something that
that would be
exists in the
hard
same
to adapt.
universe,
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool, but that would
but
be a
hard,
tough one
yeah.
to adapt. I wonder how they would do it. But
I wouldn't be
just
opposed to
yeah,
it.
I would watch Starfield, but it's just, it didn't resonate as much as I wanted it to. So as much as like say Dishonored, because Dishonored when
Sure.
it hit hard. And then
Yeah,
Skyrim obviously is just like a legendary game. But yeah, I think those would be my top 3 picks. I feel
I
like if
like it.
those were ever to come, it would be those 3.
Yeah, I like it. Bobby, yeah, this was a great conversation. Thanks Prime Video for letting us watch the all 8 episodes ahead of time. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to everyone out there watching all the episodes because yeah, we are going to do a spoiler cast for this. There's a lot to unpack, and I can't wait for everyone to start watching and have a discussion with us. I think we're going to try and get that out within the next week. So that will be a lot of fun, kind of hear everyone's thoughts on Fallout the series. But yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this on April 10th, all the episodes are available tonight. So might as well sit down, grab
Get your
some,
Nuka-Cola.
yeah, grab a Nuka-Cola, grab some sugar bombs and just slump in. But Bobby, for people who want to connect with you online, where can they do so?
You can find me at consolecreatures.com. You can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, wherever. Be Pachalitis. I'm there.
Beautiful. As for me,
Yeah.
you can find me across the internet at Svigvari. We'll be back with another episode. Actually, there's 2 episodes dropping today. We've also got a preview for the Rogue Prince of Persia. Go check that out. But we'll be back to our weekly routine of episodes next week. So be sure to tune in for that. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.